Hello fellow members of the Pride. This video is on how to revise your movie analysis paper. Check out the rubric breakdown and then check out the general notes I wrote at the beginning of your paper and the specific notes I wrote at the top of some specific language that those notes address. To get there, go to the original 4-page movie analysis paper assignment, click it, and then go up to the upper right-hand corner and click View Rubric Evaluation. When you do, you'll see the rubric breakdown, and you can scroll down and see every line of the rubric and what you got. That's good information on what to concentrate on. Then go up and click the little X there to get rid of the rubric. When you do, you'll see a link to Viewed Feedback, and there you'll see my marks on your paper, some general remarks on the top, and some specific ones below. If you revise your movie analysis paper, and it is a choice, this one's optional, I have some sweet news and some bittersweet news. The sweet news is that I'll use your new grade to replace your old grade, just as I have in optional final drafts in the past. The bittersweet news is that I won't raise your grade any unless you put a topic sentence and a concluding sentence on every paragraph that I've marked on your paper to do so. Why is that bittersweet? It's bitter because it's work. Sometimes when you go to write a topic sentence, you find out that the paragraph has no topic. That there cannot exist a topic sentence because there's nothing to describe, there's no topic. So, in order to write a topic sentence, you have to revise your paragraph so that it has a focus, so that it has a topic. That's bitter, because you may have to do more work than you thought you would. But it's sweet because real writing begins with revision. How have I marked places that need a topic or a concluding sentence in your paper? In some cases, I wrote about the need for a topic or a concluding sentence, and you'll find that writing near the top or the bottom of one or more of your body paragraphs. In most cases, though, I put a dab of green highlighter near the top or the bottom of one or more of your body paragraphs. If that dab of green highlighter is near the top, you need to write a topic sentence. If that dab is near the bottom of a paragraph, you need a concluding sentence. Why is that such an important matter in this paper? When we write movie analysis, we can get caught up with what happens next. And because there's a lot going on in a movie analysis paper, we can go a long way to discussing the director's choices with each passing shot. But the paper itself doesn't hold together well. It gets close to a lot of what happens next, sandwiched by introductory and concluding paragraphs that mention the theme. Topic sentences help with that. We don't want a what happens next sandwich. Let's look at the color-coded sample paper on how not to make a what happens next sandwich when our customers ordered up an essay entree. Here's how it looks in the color-coded sample paper. By the way, there's a link to this color-coded sample paper in the original draft assignment and in the revised draft assignment too, so you can look at it more closely at your leisure. I'll start with the thesis statement, since my topic sentences usually refer to matters brought up in it. My thesis statement is near the end of the first paragraph. Here it is. The scene's transitions, as well as its dialogue and mise en scène, suggest how Kane's success is beginning to separate him from his ideal of honesty, as well as from his top 2 staff members who have been his closest friends. So I've limited myself to 3 particular kinds of director's tools here. Transitions, like what happens between shots, and dialogue, and the mise en scène, which I'll reserve mostly for the still that I choose. My thesis statement also references a theme, right? How Kane is being separated from his ideal of honesty, and he's being separated from his friends. So you want to make sure you have a theme that your paper focuses on. My first body paragraph starts with this topic sentence. Just before the banquet scene, Wells creates a contrast by showing us the earnest, caring side of the not yet successful Kane. Now, I've limited my paper to focusing on a particular scene, but to get there I have to discuss what comes before, and most all of you did that, and that was very effective. Most everybody did a great job writing about the choices that the directors made, using the correct film terms, and really seeing a lot of what's going on from a director's perspective. So that is not something that I'm focusing on in this video, because you guys are really good at that. This paragraph ends with this concluding sentence: as Leland seems to have suspected all along, Kane's success leads to a betrayal of his principles and of his friends. So I'm still leading up to my scene here at that point. But in my concluding sentence, I tie it back to my thesis statement. The next topic sentence has two colors in it. That's because whenever there was a transition, I chose to highlight that over either the topic sentence or the concluding sentence, but it's all part of the topic sentence as well. Coming just after Kane's signing of his Declaration of Principles, something that I had brought up and described in the previous paragraph, the banquet scene begins with two smoke and mirrors camera effects that signal further that Kane won't keep to his promises. So we're going to get into smoke and mirrors cameras effects. That's what this topic sentence says, and it's going to further the idea that Kane won't keep his promises. So we know what effect we're going to be looking at, and we know what that effect is intended to do. This is a short paragraph, and it ends: the glass is really a mirror, tricking us about the space we think we see, foreshadowing what we'll learn about Kane's two-faced character. So we've covered the glass, which turns out to be a mirror. And then my next body paragraph starts with this topic sentence: after the mirror comes the smoke. Now, this paragraph doesn't need the full effect of its topic sentence referring back to the thesis statement's theme, because it's sort of piggybacking on the paragraph before it. The paragraph before it mentioned the smoke and mirrors effect, and that paragraph referred to the mirror, and this paragraph is going to refer to some smoke that happens when a photograph is taken back in the old days. Often smoke would appear, and this is a very old film. At the very end, while the mirrors signal a disruption in our perception of space, the smoke signals a disruption in our perception of time. And so we're having our ideas about perception changed, just as we're having our ideas of Citizen Kane changed. And then my next paragraph starts: here's how the invisible cut works with the scene's dialogue. So I've described this cut in this scene from one shot to another that was so tricky and made the viewer doubt his own ability to know what's going on in the film. And now we're going to go back and look at the same scene but at its dialogue. So I'm not going through that scene just one time. I'm going through it the first time to talk about the camera angles and the cut, and I'm going through the same scene again now with the dialogue. So that way it's not just a jumble of what happens next. Next the camera did this, next the character said this, next the camera did that, next the director cut to this. That kind of like progression doesn't really lend itself to analysis. So I decided to organize the same scene and kind of play it back again to my viewer, this time not looking at the camera angles, but looking at listening to the dialogue. So I do that. And this paragraph appears to end, it does end, after only a couple of lines. So you might thought it's a pretty undeveloped paragraph. Well, it's breaking only because it's dialogue. I'm examining dialogue, and of course after each person speaks, there's a paragraph break signaling that we're going to hear someone else speaking. And so that's why I've done that. So go back and look in the paper, and everywhere I've marked, make sure that you have a topic sentence and a concluding sentence, and if need be, refocus that paragraph so that it has a topic, and always tie back to the theme that the director is developing that's mentioned in your thesis statement. Thank you.